Hey guys, my name is Damian Haynes, and I say we get straight to it. So, coming from the Daily Mail, Ford patents self-driving car that repossesses itself if the owner fails to keep up the payments and drives itself back to the showroom or scrapyard. Now, the article states itself, Ford is not taking any chances with owners missing car payments. The company is working on a system that promotes the vehicle to repossess itself. A newly awarded patent describes the car self-driving back to the showroom or a scrapyard if the owner does not answer messages about the delinquent account. The American car makers would start the process by disabling comfort features, playing noises inside the car, and limiting where the vehicle can drive. If all else fails, Ford will activate the self-driving feature, and the owner has no choice but to give up the car. Now, the features that were mentioned would be comfort features that it would turn off. It would start with the air conditioner, heater, music, and then it would start playing sounds when you sat down in the driver's seat, etc. And then eventually the car would drive back to the dealership or scrapyard. This is a very important story when it comes to emerging technology. As we go into these high-tech technologies like smart cars or smart thermostats or really anything with a computer inside it now, it gives more control over from you, the individual, to other potentially nefarious actors. In this case, it's your liquid account, you're not paying for your car, it's getting repossessed. It's not necessarily a bad thing on itself, but it does have potential side effects. Because if your vehicle is able to drive back to the dealership on command, being sent from Ford, that means nefarious actors like hackers can then intrude and capture your car and make it drive back or make it drive into a wall. Not that governments or nefarious actors would ever do anything like that. And the same thing we can see, the government's also looking at activating similar ideas when it comes to drunk driving currently with a bill, HR 3684. It passed on the 117th Congress. It states within the bill that on Section 220, advanced impaired driving technology to ensure the prevention of alcohol impaired driving fatalities, advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology must be standard equipped in all new passenger motor vehicles. It's not very clear on what this technology is going to be, what this technology, once it's implemented, will look like, how intrusive it would be, but further on, it kind of gives an idea of what it could pertain to. So this could be to it could be say it would impair your motor, so your motor drives slower, turn off your vehicle altogether. But when they add in these devices, say, hey, if you're driving too fast, you're too hard on your brake, too hard on your gas, you may be swerving a little bit, maybe then the system thinks you're impaired, and then it stops your motor while you're on the highway. Or if it's tracking these things and someone has to go in and make sure that you're not drunk, then it also activates another avenue for nefarious actors to access your vehicle. Something that you can see with newer vehicles. Any vehicle past 2015, they can, with all the new computers inside them and the new connection opportunities like Uconnect, for example, they can access that from a distance. And then they gain control to your systems such as steering and gas and braking and music, etc., through the computer in your vehicle. So it's already something that's already in your on your newer vehicles, but by adding further technology such as this alcohol impaired driving monitoring system, or say Ford's new self-driving cars driving back, it adds a very specific avenue now that's already in place, so you don't have to implement it yourself. So if you're gonna go hack a new Jeep, for instance, you gotta kind of figure it out as you're hacking it. There's no system in place that kind of like forces it to go a certain way in a very easily controlled fashion. But with these new technologies, it can better control it. So it's important when you, the individual, are making these purchases that you are aware that these new comforts, these new self-driving vehicles, these new technologies, these new vehicles in general, while they're more comfortable, they're more luxurious than vehicles in the past, and they're more convenient, they come with side effects, which means you have less control. Same with smart smart thermostats. Many people like smart thermostats because they're more efficient, they're cheaper, they're better for your home, they regulate it better than an analog thermostat, which is fantastic for you as a consumer. The problem is with these smart thermostats, the electric companies and governments have already implemented rules to regulate when you can use it. So you get locked out of it. Your thermostat now is locked at 77 degrees in the summer because California can't afford to cool your home because the power grid will fall down. For example, with your electric car. Now your electric car has all this technology in it that constantly communicating with a database far off in the distance, and say a state puts in a edict that says, hey, no charge in your car from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And when you plug in your car says, hey, I'm not allowed to charge. It's government orders. You don't have that free will anymore because you gave over that personal control, that personal responsibility and freedom to someone else from the luxury. Which again, luxury is fantastic. Smart thermostats are cheaper. You're gonna notice a massive difference on your electricity bill or your heating and cooling bills. But you lose that ability to go, no, I want to cool my home. I'm going to keep my home at 68, 70, whatever it is. Instead, you allow other people to control that for you. Same for electric, for these new cars. So Ford, you want to get one of those new Ford self-driving cars. Well, if you miss a payment, you'll start noticing some differences, or maybe someone will hack it, and you'll just constantly hear this beeping noise. Something we saw with like Kias. Kias, you go in, you plug in a USB, and you're in, and you control it, and you drive around with it. So whenever you go with these new technologies, you lose that control. And again, they are convenient, but you have to keep that in mind as the consumer. And that's really what I want to talk about, because it doesn't matter what we're talking about with these new technologies. You bring up your phone tracks you now. It listens to you. You constantly have Google suggesting things to you suddenly that you had in conversations next to your phone. The Amazon Alexa, for example, if you say something illegal to it, it can record it and report you to the police. These devices, while convenient, they're removing your ability to live freely. It's something you really have to keep in mind as a consumer. And it's unfortunate because technology should be freeing us. Much like social media when it first came out, it was a space of freedom, of rebellion, of infinite knowledge and speech. It is slowly being controlled now, where the government's slowly taking that back as massive corporations are slowly taking that back now, and you have much more of the corporate speak, more of the establishment speak on these technologies, where you have to actively search for different ideas. You can't search for other COVID theories on YouTube during certain periods because YouTube deemed that to be false misinformation. These technologies work very similarly. While they can be liberating, they're controlled, and that's something we have to keep in mind. It is a sacrifice. So personally, I like analog. I like old-fashioned trucks. I don't need a truck with a GPS device in it. I don't need a truck with this fancy dashboard. I need a truck that turns on, has a heater in it, it has an air conditioner in it, and it hauls things. It's pretty simple. It's worked for 100 years. It'll work for 100 more years. I don't want an electric truck. I want a gas truck so I can pump up and go, pump up and go, pump up and go. I don't have to worry about charging, none of that. And it's, frankly, why I like that technology difference. Like, hey, look, I've been in cars with the new GPSs and the new dashboards in them, and they're fantastic. It's just, they're not needed, and that's something you should pay attention to, because, again, that convenience, it looks nice, but it's not fulfilling. It's dangerous. Much like government handouts. It looks enticing. It's convenient. But then you become hooked and you can't get off it, and they can use it to control you. And that's really what I want to talk about today. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.